Hi, I'm Donna. Welcome to my Louisiana kitchen. Today I'm going to make macaroni and cheese for you guys. And this was my mom's recipe that she handed down to me. And over the years I've kind of changed it and made it my own. And it was the favorite recipe in the family. Whenever we had family gatherings, it was the one everybody asked her to bring. And today I'm going to show you how you can make it your own just by adding different kinds of cheeses that your family likes. And let's get started, okay? First we're going to add 2 sticks of butter to this pan and melt it. My homage to the divine Miss Paula. To the 2 sticks of butter, after we get it all nice and melted down, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of flour. And you're going to stir that until it all becomes incorporated and everything's melted and creamy. Okay, to the flour and milk, we're going to slowly add 4 cups of whole milk. And as it heats up, it'll thicken. Add it all in. Now I'm just going to switch to my whisk, and we're going to whisk this in until it's all nice and smooth. And we're going to stir constantly until it thickens and smooths out nice. We're going to add salt and pepper. Okay, now to this we're going to add a 1 pound of cubed Velveeta processed cheese. And we're going to stir until that all melts and incorporates in and becomes nice and creamy. Hey, that's looking beautiful. This is exactly what we're looking for. Again, nice and creamy. Smells great. It's going to get a nice yellow color with the Velveeta. It melts in there, and that's what we want. Okay, now we're going to add about 2/3 of a pound of Fontina cheese. And my cat has showed up in the kitchen because she smells the cheese and the milk and she's wanting some. So I love Fontina. It has a wonderful creamy texture. It's a semi-soft cheese, and so it melts really nice in the sauce. And it's readily available at any grocery store. And that's just the wax rind that I'm going to cut off of there. And then we're just going to cube it because we're going to put it into our white sauce with our Velveeta. And we're going to let it melt down. And again, this is something that you guys can pick and choose your own cheeses and what suits your taste. I really highly suggest that you try different cheeses. You know, be brave. Get some small different kinds of cheeses at the store and taste them and really experiment with what you like. And I think that if you try Fontina, you're going to find that you really like it. Okay, so now we've put the Fontina into the white sauce. And again, we're just going to stir it a little bit and let it melt and incorporate into our sauce. You can see the Velveeta is almost melted. It's got a beautiful creamy texture, and that's exactly what we're looking for. It's still off the heat. I've still got it just sitting on the stove, not under any heat, and we're just letting those cheeses melt in there. It's really important that you not burn it at this point because you'd have to start all over again. Okay, we're back on the heat now, and we're just going to gently stir the cheese sauce until everything is nice and melted. You can see it's all really creamy. It's getting thick. When you're cooking your sauce, the first time that it comes to a boil is as thick as it's going to get. So once you reach a boil, if it's not as thick as you want, at that point you'd have to go back and add a little more butter and flour mixed together and put it back in and melt that down until it gets thick again. Okay, now our sauce is all done, the cheese is all melted. And we're going to just bring it over here. This is 1 pound of penne pasta, which I have cooked al dente and drained ahead of time. You can use any kind of pasta you like. You can use the elbow macaroni. I prefer the tube-shaped pasta because it's going to hold all that nice gooey, creamy sauce inside of it as it cooks. So we just want to cook that all down and get it all ready. Be sure and salt your water so it's got lots of flavor. So now we're just going to pour our cream sauce over our noodles. the chunks of cheese are not quite melted, but it will all incorporate in there as it cooks in the oven, so you don't need to worry about it. Right now we just want to get all of this nice creamy sauce stirred into our pasta noodles. You want your sauce to be extra creamy at this point because as it cooks in the oven, it's gonna evaporate some of that moisture, and we don't want it to dry out. We want that nice gooey creamy sauce when we pull it out of the oven. We're going to add a half a cup of sour cream. And we're going to add our 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. I love putting cream cheese in my macaroni and cheese because it makes it tangy and it gives it this wonderful creamy texture. We're going to fold all that in there. And I know right now it looks like there's a lot of sauce, but you have to remember that once it bakes in the oven, it's going to dry out a little bit. So we want it to be really creamy and cheesy at this point. I don't think you can get too much cheese in your macaroni and cheese. Okay, now I've got my 13 by 9 casserole dish, and I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of Pam on the outside edges. That way it'll make cleanup a little easier after we bake it in the oven. And we're going to pour half of our macaroni into the pan. Okay, we'll spread that around, and now I've got 2 cups of mozzarella shredded, and I have 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese, and a half a cup of Parmesan. And we're going to divide that in half and put it in between the layers of macaroni and cheese. There's half of our mozzarella, half of our sharp cheddar, and half of our Parmesan. Now we're going to pour the rest of our macaroni on top of that. So now we're just going to spread that around. Make sure we get all the corners. And now we're going to finish off by putting the rest of the cheese over the top. Now the cheddar cheese. And we'll finish with the Parmesan. I'm going to cover this with aluminum foil, and we're going to bake it in the oven, 325 for about an hour, till it's all nice and gooey and creamy. Okay? Alright, now we've got our macaroni and cheese in the oven. At this point, if you wanted to, you don't have to bake it. Put the aluminum foil on it, put it in the freezer. It'll keep for 2 weeks, 3 weeks until your company comes, and then you can just relax and enjoy your company and not have to worry about it because you've got great macaroni and cheese in the oven. We just bring it over here and we'll sit it down. Hot, bubbly, gooey. Oh, it smells wonderful. About the last 15-20 minutes, you want to take the aluminum foil off so that it can get nice and brown and crispy on the outside. Oh, look at that. That's what we want. Stringy and cheesy. Really hot. It's wonderful. It's comfort food. It's just what I wanted. Thank you all so much for joining me today in my Louisiana kitchen, and I can't wait to see you all in Savannah. Bye.